Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a report by Lianhe Xiaobao, the U.S. Department of Justice under the Trump administration has introduced a new procedure allowing certain individuals who lost their gun ownership rights due to felony convictions to apply for restoration. Attorney General Blanche announced the new regulation, stating that the Second Amendment is not a second-class right and that the federal government should not permanently deprive citizens of their constitutional rights without assessing if they pose a threat to public safety. The Department of Justice expects to receive approximately 330,000 applications within the first year of implementation, with the application window set to open in about a month. Notably, the new policy will not restore gun rights to undocumented immigrants, registered sex offenders, or violent criminals. Currently, around 30 million people in the U.S. are barred from owning firearms due to criminal convictions. Previously, restoring these rights required a presidential pardon or an application through the ATF, the funding for which had been blocked by Congress for years. Under the new rule, the authority to approve these restorations has been transferred directly to the Office of the Attorney General. According to a report by the Liberty Times, World Health Organization WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus issued a stark warning regarding the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC. He stated that the epidemic is spreading faster than any previous outbreak in history and remains far from under control, presenting a high risk of spreading to neighboring countries. The DRC recently announced that the current outbreak has become the most lethal in its history, with over 2,300 deaths recorded out of nearly 5,000 cases. The crisis is heavily concentrated in the country's northern and eastern regions, where weak local governance, severely deficient medical infrastructure, and decades of armed conflict have severely hindered containment efforts. The WHO Emergency Committee previously declared the situation a public health emergency of international concern, FEATS. Currently, the WHO assesses the public health risk as very high within the DRC and high for neighboring countries like Uganda, which has already reported cases. According to a report by the Liberty Times, the German Farmers Association, DBV, has warned that Germany's grain harvest is projected to drop by 7% this year to 41.9 million metric tons, falling well below historical averages. The decline is attributed to a severe drought caused by an unusually dry spring, followed by intense, record-breaking heat waves in the latter half of June. DBV President Joachim Ruckwied highlighted that the southern and western regions of the country have been hardest hit, with some farmers reporting dismal yields or total crop failure. Compounding the climate crisis, German farmers are also facing unprecedented financial strain due to geopolitical conflicts. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz amid Middle East tensions has triggered global shortages of oil and raw materials, driving up the prices of diesel, fertilizers, and pesticides. Confronted with the dual threat of skyrocketing production costs and plummeting yields, many agricultural operations are experiencing critical cash flow shortages. In response, the DBV has urgently appealed to the German government for emergency bailout packages, including direct financial subsidies and fuel tax cuts. According to CBS News, the U.S. ambassador to Turkey, Tom Barrack, has publicly criticized Israel for conducting airstrikes on the Abu al-Duhur air base in northern Syria, labeling the action an unnecessary escalation that fails to advance regional stability. Syrian officials reported that the base was hit by at least 4 strikes, causing material damage but no casualties. While Israel has not officially acknowledged the strikes, the U.S. envoy expressed deep concern on social media, emphasizing that Syria's post-Bashar al-Assad government, led by Ahmed al-Sharaa, has shown no aggressive posture nor maintained proxy forces, and has instead expressed a preference for de-escalation. The U.S. continues to advocate for restraint and diplomatic dialogue rather than military action. The Syrian Ministry of Foreign Affairs condemned the strikes as a flagrant violation of its sovereignty. Observers note that Turkey has been working to rehabilitate the out-of-service airbase. According to CBS News, the Walt Disney Company, ABC, and their television stations have filed a lawsuit against the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, in a Washington, D.C. federal court. The media companies allege that the FCC's recent demand for early broadcast license renewals represents a retaliatory campaign that violates their First Amendment rights. The licenses in question were originally scheduled for renewal between 2028 and 2031. The legal complaint contends that the regulatory pressure is an attempt to punish ABC for broadcasting content and viewpoints disliked by the Trump administration. In April, the FCC ordered an accelerated review of ABC-owned stations, ostensibly over a diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) investigation. However, this move directly followed President Trump's public demands to fire late-night comedian Jimmy Kimmel over jokes made about First Lady Melania Trump. Legal experts have deemed the timing of the FCC's order highly suspect, noting that the agency has not requested an early license renewal in over 50 years. While the FCC holds the authority to revoke or deny renewals, doing so would trigger a massive legal battle. Disney has declined to comment on the ongoing lawsuit. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.